Good afternoon guys, welcome to another video. It's about 2 o'clock now and I'm out for another explore on a stretch of the Avon on a new ticket I've got, which is just down there, the Avon. Now, I walked this stretch about 3 or 4 years ago when I last had this ticket, never fished it, but with the river as it was yesterday, which I'll touch on in a minute, I thought I'd come down below Stratford, down below the confluence with the Stour, where I know it'll be a bit more coloured. And I've had a walk along here, spent about 15 minutes having a mooch along here, and there's a couple of swims that look nice. There's about 3 foot of visibility, unfortunately, which is a bit too much really for what I've got in mind. But what I wanted to do is have a bit of an explore. So I bought the trotting gear. And what I've got is my Daiwa Tournament Pro 15-foot rod, Daiwa 125M close face reel from the past, and Drake alloy stem stick float. I'll put all the info of this down below so you can go and have a look exactly what I use at your leisure, and I shall make a video of my trotting gear as well at some point soon, so you can and explain exactly what I do with this. Now, as I mentioned, I was out yesterday. I haven't made a video because it was pretty dire. I went for an explore above Stratford. The river is very clear up there, maybe 5 foot of visibility, something like that, and the Avon, when it's clear, it's really, you have to fish into dark to get any bites at all. And I had my trotting gear with me and I went for a bit of an explore. Did a stretch for a couple of hours, nothing doing at all, not massively surprised, but we got a bit of info on the stretch. And then I dropped into a familiar swim just for dusk, and that was quite odd as well, to be honest. I had one chub that was probably a pound, if that, and that was it. So yes, it was tough going. So what I've done today is come downstream of Stratford, downstream of the confluence with the Stour. It's a bit more coloured. There's about 3 foot of visibility, as I mentioned. So I'm hoping we'll be able to get some chub. That's the plan. Got my usual approach. Mash bread. As I say, I'm going to do some trotting just so we can have a bit of an explore. We can see how deep it is. There's a nice bit of cover on the other side. There's some trees, obviously no leaves on at the moment, but there's some trees on the other side. I've selected perhaps 2, maybe 3 swims we can have a go at down here. Might give it 2 or 3 hours perhaps. Well, what time is it now? 2. So maybe an hour and a half, something like that. We'll see how it's going. But I've got another stretch in mind I might go and have a visit to, so we might spend the last hour up there, but we'll just have to see. We'll just have to see how it's going. Anyway, that's enough waffle. Let's get on with it. The first swim is very tight down there, so let's go and secrete ourselves in there and see how we get on. So guys, here we are. Balancing on a rock here, and the water just disappears away in front of me. I can see probably 3 foot into it, and I can't really see the bottom. So yeah, I don't want to overbalance. Go in. It's very tight down here, but as you can see, there's this nice bits of cover over there, which would be nice to run the float past. Another reason, I don't know if you can hear, that I chose to come here is that it's very windy today. I think a lot of places have struggled to do any trotting, really. We'll perhaps spend 5 minutes feeding, just getting a bit of this mash bread in. See if we can lure any chub out that may be under that tree or the next one. Can run quite a long way down here. Obviously you've got to be careful with the fish kiting if we hook one. It looks nice. And certainly not getting anything today is by no means a failure, because we've had a bit of an explore and really are not great conditions at all at the moment, but we've got no rain due to colour the water up, so I think now's the only time really to have a bit of an explore, and if we do catch anything, that'll be a bonus certainly. Just climbed into the water, feel a bit more home in the water. Now, as for depth, not a clue. But I would imagine it's at least 6 foot deep. I'm complete guess. As I say, I have no idea at all. I'm hoping it's not too deep, because otherwise this mash bread's not going to get down. There'll certainly be some chub here. That I have no doubt. But as I say, whether we can interest them this time of the day, different story. Right, start at 6 foot. See what happens. Nice being hunkered down here out of the wind, because it is properly blowing up there. Wind's going that way. It's been down this high bank. It's fab stood here, really nice. Well, that's going through without an issue. At 6 foot. It's actually very mild today. It's quite a warm westerly wind that's blowing. Alright. Ooh, now was that a bite? Didn't look like a bite, it sort of shot under. God, if we've had a bite first run through, I'd be amazed. But obviously, ecstatic. You can usually tell when you catch bottom because the float just drags under slowly. And that absolutely shot under. And it was sort of where you'd expect the fish to be as well, just off that tree that you can see there. I presume it's a willow. Might just be a big branch in the water though, underneath the water. Just bait going in. Yeah, that's gone right through that time. Quite a long way down as well. Could probably fish a waggler here, to be honest, but it's just nice to have the line coming off the top of the float. It's just much easier to mend the line. Right, there we go. We're about 7 foot now. See how we are running through at that. Yeah, I think we're dragging under that, so that's to give us an idea of the depth anyway. Alright, we're in. Oh, can you believe it? Just dipped under down at the bottom of the run there. Oh, he's making it towards that tree. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Oh, I'm in the tree as well. Come on, out. God, blimey. He's heading for that tree. Oh, we're going to lose him if he gets in there. Wow, brilliant. We had a bite. We got him away from the tree as well. Wonderful. God, I had to give him a bit then. I don't think he's a monster. Certainly fish I'd rather land than not. Wow, I'm amazed we had one this quickly. I'm landing it wrong side. Oh, so look, where are you? There he is. Oh, isn't that a reasonable fish? Blimey. Cracking. Right, let's do this left-handed. So awkward down here, so awkward. There we go, right. Let's, so we can steer him in. There's a bit of flow on this. This side as well. Come on, chap. Mouth open. Oh, well, that is a lovely fish. Wonderful stuff. Just saw a little dip on the float and I thought, is it going under over there as well? Clearly not. A quick look at him. We'll have a look at him over the net, but that's lovely. That's a good 3-pounder, that is. Wonderful stuff. Oh, I'm over the moon with that. Absolutely cracking. Make sure he's got his breath back. There we go. I'll keep him in the net there. This nice deep net. Wonderful. I'm over the moon. And relatively surprised, to be honest, as well. Right, wonder if we can have another one. That was nowhere near that tree either. It was a bit further down. And much closer into my near bank. But what we got here, we're on the outside of a bend here. We're about sort of 3/4 of the way around a bend. So all the water, the faster water, is under our feet. I mean, literally, the fastest water is about off the end of my rod. There's a few eddies in the edge here, but about a rod length out, it's pushing round. And that chub was sat in that. It was nowhere near that cover that you'd expect it. But blimey. That's about 3rd or 4th run through. Just as I say, a little dip on the float. I was just about to bring it back because I thought I can't go any further for exactly the reason I mentioned. You're going to kite straight into that tree. And we're going to lose them, and it's pointless hooking fish. We're going to lose them. We're likely to. We got stuck in the tree up there trying to pull him away. And dragged under there again. It does seem to drag under in random places in here. Well, I'm absolutely made up, you can probably tell. I really wasn't expecting to catch much at all today. And I really need to re-spool my line as well. It's getting very old, this line. It's been on here for months. And obviously, trotting, it takes a lot of hammer, the line. It does a lot of work. It's just shallow up a tad. It does a lot of work. You do sort of stress it, and also using close face reel I think doesn't help because they haven't got that nice big sort of roller that fixed ball reels have got. I say I've shallowed up a little bit. We'll see if we keep pulling under. You know, maybe smaller fish, maybe roach, maybe lots of roach in here. Pulling the float under and not getting hooked because I've got a huge bit of flake on. Only a size 10 hook. Specialist wide gate. And that's gone through. I just dragged a little bit then. The thing is, that first bite as well on a new stretch is so important. Just give you that confidence to stick it out. So you're not confident that there's any fish there, you know, more likely to go for a wonder. I certainly am. Certainly give it 20 minutes and I'll get a bit itchy and itchy feet and want to go for a wonder if I haven't had a bite. But you know, I'll happily stick it out for another half an hour now. It's gone under. There we go. Another one. The same place. Cool, blimey. Found some chub, I think. Again for that tree. I hooked him a bit further upstream this time, so I don't think he's going to make it. I can't give him any line though. He's really, really going for that tree. If I give him anything, we're in trouble. Come on. Really pushing this gear. 2.5 pound bottom on. I can see the float, so I know where he is now. Here's another reasonable fish. We're bending this rod. Oh, he's not huge by any means, but very welcome. He's not done yet either. Come on. Come on, chap. Oh, look at that, right in the top lip. Perfect. Get him in without losing the other one. There we go. Fab. Well, better than you could possibly hope for on a new stretch. Wow. Actually, he's a little bit bigger. Wonderful. That's cracking. Right. See if we can have a hat trick. Blimey. What a swim this is. Oh, yes, definitely need to re-spool. Re-spool of line and a clean, I think, is what this reel needs. The thing is, not only are we catching fish, we're catching a nice stamper fish as well. I've kind of heard on the grapevine though that this stretch does get barbel fished a reasonable amount. So I'm guessing a lot of pellet goes in here in the summer, and so the chub get nice and fat on pellets. Right, last run through, I think. One more run through, so not really a lot happening. Float's going under very occasionally, but I've given it probably a good half an hour, maybe 40 minutes since that last fish. And float's probably gone under maybe 3 times. There were possibly bites, but equally they could well be the bottom. So I think we've had another fish by now if we're going to get one. Probably better off to, rather than flogging this to death, perhaps go and have a move, try some other spots. Everything else is a bonus now, really. This wind is certainly picking up though. We're going to have to pick our spots carefully, I think. Now let's call it a day. Let's get these fish back and we're going to have a move. See if we can pick some fish up somewhere else. Right, we'll give these chaps their freedom. Nice brace in there, nicely recovered. Lovely spot actually to rest them up behind that rock there. Right chaps, back you go. Wonderful. Right, go a bit further, perhaps downstream, see what we can find. So I was intending on heading downstream, but from the swim we were fishing, which is sort of over there, I could see this tree in the water here. I could see this swim. It just looked nice to trot down under that tree there. If I get out of the way, you'd be able to see. Just looks a nice run down. This swim doesn't look like it's been fished for quite a while. All the, I don't know what they are, stinging nettle stems are still here, all across. Obviously hasn't been fished since they grew up, which would have been yesterday, would have been last summer. Some of the swims further downstream look like they get fished fairly regularly. You know, they're all quite muddy. But this one, yeah, no, it's been down here for at least, I would say at least 6 months, if not longer. But, you know, it doesn't mean anything necessarily. But that swim just looked cracking, that tree down there, you can probably see, just looks cracking down there. Just run the float down to it. It's going to be all roots in the water. God, covered in mashed bread again. Yeah, there'll be all roots in the water, and obviously there's a bit of cover above. Looks very chubby to me. We'll start off at the same depth, and then we'll get deeper if necessary. But I think this is the sort of swim, if we're going to get a bite, it'll be within 15 minutes really. So we'll give this quarter of an hour, and then we'll head off downstream. It just looks nice here, but you know, maybe a reason it doesn't get fished. Who knows? Right, that's better. Down in the water. Much prefer to be down here. Just about stand in the water without getting overtopping wellies. Right, let's say I reckon 15 minutes in here is plenty. We'll certainly know by then if we're going to get a bite. Just looked too good to ignore, to be honest. That run down to those branches and that tree. I'm not going to go too far under. That's gone under. There we go. First run through. Did just look too good. Oh. Well, was that a bite? I thought it was. I thought I felt the fish on. If I did, we're stuffed now because we'll have scared them all. I thought I'd felt a fish on, but it didn't feel very big. Just felt a couple of 3 thumps. Well, we may well have had a bite and done the swimming in one run through. I think we've upset them. The more I think about it, the more that was a bite first run through. I've gone about a foot deeper and it's running through without going under. So it was clearly a bite. Just pricked the fish and then it was off. It's obviously spooked him, and I can't think it's the only one down there, but he's probably spooked all his mates as well. We might come back. We'll go to this next swim further up where I can see another tree similar to this, although it looks a bit more inviting really, although I wouldn't be able to run under it. But we'll go and have a look up there, see if it's fishable. If it is, we'll have a go. If not, we'll get off downstream. Right, on to the next swim, the tree that we were looking at going to up there. No good. There's a lot of reeds in front of it, as in upstream of it, and it was fairly shallow underneath as well, so didn't bother with that. We've come downstream. There's a nice bit of cover here. We'll perhaps do this bit. I'm about halfway along it, unfortunately. I can't really fish further up. I just can't get to fish it further up, but we've got a sort of second half of it to do. It's a nice little sort of bottleneck in here. Opens out a bit, and then perhaps if we've got time, completely lost track of time. It feels like it's starting to go dark a bit. If we've got time, we'll perhaps go and try that next little run down there, which we'll sort of be feeding when we're doing in here anyway. It looks like it should be relatively deep in here, because it's not banging through, and it is a bottleneck, which tells me perhaps it's a little bit deeper. Who knows? We'll find out in a minute. We'll just spend a couple of minutes putting a bit of bait in, and we'll have a crack. Right, I fletched a good 6 foot, so we'll try that first. As I say, I think it must be a bit deeper in here, just the way it's just trundling through. If it was shallow or even the same depth as the rest of the river, it would speed up. See if we can do anything here anyway. Yeah, we're good 6 foot there. Well, that's run through, no problem. Not so concerned about running a long way down here. So we've got a bit of an angle this side if we need it. Yeah, that's gone 40 metres. Certainly a fantastic way of searching out the water. And you know, I've already learned, even though I've come and we've caught some fish, which is fantastic. You know, I've already learned that it's deeper upstream and downstream from that bend And there's lots of obstructions on that bend we started on. There we go. Looked down and looked up, the float was gone. Where we've been having those, what felt like bites. This feels a half decent fish. Blimey. God, blimey. He's heading for that tree over there. Cool. This feels a decent fish. Kiting across the river and shaking his head occasionally. Now we're getting on a little bit. Cool, this does feel a nice fish. Shows me I should pay attention. Now we've got a load of reeds in front of us here. If he kites in, I think I'll have to go downstream and get him. He's not sort of fighting so hard, it just feels quite heavy. Perhaps he's doing a good impression. Right, he has gone right in, so let's get down there and go and get him. There he is, wallowing about. Ooh, blimey. Can I get down there? That's a question. There's a big reed bed down here. Really up. Oh. God, I'm making right pig's ear of this. Hopefully he's worth it. Oh, he's a nice fish. Fab. Whew. Hopefully you saw that. Oh, he's a nice one. Oh, yes. Probably saw me go AOT. But we got him. Well, I'm back after my excursion. Yeah, he's beautiful condition fish as well. Look at that black on the end of the anal fin. Beautiful charcoal grey. Fab. What a stretch we found here. I'm nearly out of mashed bread in my pouch. We've had a cracking couple of hours. Caught 3 lovely chub, bumped one off. And the wonderful thing about mashed bread is that was 1 loaf. So that's Neville's loaves at Tesco, somewhere between 40 and 50p. Right, onto my backup supply. Second loaf, mashed up loaf. I tend to do it at home, to be honest, just because it's easier. Less faffing about on the bank. Did feel like a much better fish than that, I have to say. I thought it was, the way he was pulling down there, it was going to be a good 4-pounder at least, but not a problem at all. Just so wonderful catching them on the float. I need to check the time. It's got to be 4 o'clock. It's got to be. I'm not going to leave too late. We'll fish just till a sensible time when we can't see the float anymore. Well, I've just checked the time. I was right, it is starting to get dark. It's just 4:30. So, 2.5 hours at it. It's been very enjoyable, I have to say. Very enjoyable. It's not been easy. I've not been crawling up the line at all. I had to work for it, but we got a few fish. Should really have had 4, but that one bumped off for some reason. But perhaps give it another 10 or 15 minutes, perhaps just till sunset. See if we can winkle another one out. It's best time of day really as well for it. I'm going to be going home too early. do get asked quite often by people about chub and the Avon and any tips of where to find chub. And my answer's always the same. If you stood by the water, you went far from a chub in the Avon. Getting them to bite might be another story. They're not daft at all. But as you've seen today, I mean, I walked this stretch 3 or 4 years ago. So I had a sort of vague memory of what it looked like. Never fished it. I've rucked up, picked a few swims and fished 3 swims and had bites in all of them. You know, it's not, as I say, they're not stupid. You can't just chuck stuff at them and expect them to, there we go, and expect them to crawl up the line. Feels another nice fish. You might be going down there again to get it. It's kiting in. Gosh, straight in, look. Straight into the reed bed. Trouble is I can't drag the landing net down there this time because we've got a fish in there already. I'm going to have to try and persuade him out. I mean, he's out. He's not actually in the reeds. Although we'll be giving half a chance, I would imagine. Try not to fall over this time. Ah, that's that's the spot. Come on, out you come. Come on, out you come. Yeah, nice try. They know where the snags are, don't they? Both come straight in here. Right, it's a bit... Oh, it's not actually that big. We'll beach him in the reeds. Try and not get a welly full. Got him. Well, there we are. Still attached to half the weed bed he was after. Fantastic. Right. We'll have another few minutes at it. Might be beneficial to go and stand down there, but it's a lot further in. Be a lot trickier to trot. I sort of stood here because I'm sort of stood out in the water. A bit of a gravelly beach area, and I can stand a bit further out. It's a lot deeper there. These fish are just heading straight in there. Fab. 2 braces. Wonderful. I have to say, what I've caught today has been beyond my expectations. Really, way beyond. You know, this river this clear, it's usually rubbish till this time of night and darker, and then fish seem to come out on the move. I think having a moving bait certainly helps. Having that bait moving. I think they find it hard to resist if you drop it in front of them. Whereas it isn't till dark where they actually actively go out and start looking for food. Oh, there we go. Cool. That's wonderful. Yeah, and he's no monster. It feels a reasonable fish. just ran a bit closer to that cover on the other side that time. Hence him not making a beeline for this near bank. Just plodding off upstream. God, I'm not seeing the float yet. Where are you? Right in the middle here. God. Sudden kick. And he's battling under the rod top. Got another nice fish. Wow. What a session. I say no beast, but another cracking fish. Nicked in the top lip. Come on, we won't disturb these other two. In you come. Got it. Oh, it's another cracker. Certainly is another cracker. How about that? Wonderful stuff. We'll have another 5 minutes. I was thinking about a couple of more runs through, and that was the first of them. Can't go home and getting bites, can you? And I have to say, these muck boots are brilliant. These Arctic Sport muck boots. I paid for them. I'm not advertising them, but if you suffer from cold feet, I've been stood in this water today for 2.5 hours. Getting on for 3 hours. And this water's about 6 degrees. And I've not even noticed, to be honest. Right, that's it. I'm going to call it a day. Well, that's been great. Let's get these fellas back. Wonderful. That's the biggest one, I think. That's about the second biggest one. Or might be the biggest one. No, that's probably the biggest one. Back you go. If actually been able to get in the water, we can let them go nicely. That water is freezing. Well, for a first session to a new stretch in not particularly great river conditions, the overcast skies certainly helped, but this river I did think we'd struggle a bit. I came for a bit of an explore really, and I think in my wildest dreams I would have thought we'd catch 5 chub and bump that one off. So yeah, should have had half dozen really, but wow, wonderful. And I'm certainly going to be back here. Definitely. Now I'm going to try and get out again tomorrow. I might be able to nip out at the middle of the day, or perhaps at the back end of the day into dusk. I'm not sure exactly yet. I've got a very busy day on tomorrow, but there might be a window. We'll see. But for now, thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed that half as much as I did. Thank you to all the new subscribers that are coming on board, and of course thank you to those of you who've been around since the beginning. Good luck when you get out on the bank yourselves. Many thanks also goes to the channel patrons for their fantastic support. Thank you very much, and I'll see you all again very soon.